This video is going to be about all the information that Bethesda showed off at Starfield Direct about Outposts, resources, and looting, and the value of what Todd Howard calls stuff. The Outpost beacon is going to be the starting point of building an outpost, and when you're in the view to place an outpost beacon, you are going to see the available resources to your outpost when using extractors. I'll be curious to see if you have 2 available resources when you put down an outpost and how that works with extractors. Extractors are going to allow you to gather resources over time, so placing of outposts actually might be very strategic. They also showed off a top-down view that's going to help you place the larger structures of your outpost, and then when you're on your feet, you can get more into the finer details of placing some of the decor around your outpost areas. But they showed off quite a bit of structures that you're going to be able to place and utilize at your outpost. Your outposts are going to be able to do research, craft, and yes, your companions and crew members are also going to be able to help out at your outposts. And if you want the maximum efficiency for outposts, don't forget about the outpost skills. I actually like building sim type games, so I'm very intrigued as to all the different things we're going to be able to do with outposts. Now, as far as resources go, resource gathering and looting, it was kind of interesting they showed off. They did show off, just basic in the world using your cutter tool to extract resources. But like a typical Bethesda game, it seems like there is going to be environments of looting and lots of stuff around for us to pick up and trade in or use along the way. One of the things that's kind of important is if you are looking for certain resources, it's going to be beneficial to scan planets or moons to see what resources are on those planets. And as you are scanning planets, it seems to be like there is a pretty wide range of resources that we will be able to acquire and store. One of the things I haven't really been able to pinpoint down is the color schematic for some of the resources. And I'm thinking more along the lines of once you actually extract a resource from that planet or moon and you find out what kind of a resource, like a H2O resource, you figure out if it's toxic or safe, then it will become color coordinated. I did slow down some of the footage on some of the looting menus off of the NPCs, as some of them did go by kind of quick. But some of the cool things about looting is you'll be able to pick the pocket of certain NPCs. I'm sure if you have certain skills that allow you to do that, you'll also be able to loot any destroyed ships that you come across, which seems to be like a pretty good way to get certain resources, as certain factions and maybe even certain ships maybe provide more resources of a certain type than others. Now, if you're looking forward to the wildlife part of the game, they too will also be able to give off resources. So maybe finding the right planet with the right wildlife might be just hugely valuable. Same thing goes for any kind of vegetation. And where are you going to want to use these resources? Well, building, crafting, and I'm sure even trading. Now, as far as the value of all the stuff in the game goes, didn't really have much to talk about here, but if there is something with value that's already previously in the video, I didn't actually include it in the section. I just wanted to put everything into one video. That way it is easier to look up later if we wanted to check something out. But some of the things that kind of stand out is how much of a difference some of the ships actually are in value. So if you do want to get into that space combat and taking over of ships, that actually might be a pretty good way to go to bring in some value, as long as you do it at the right vendor. Another thing you do notice is actually at the top right, there is something called vendor credits. Now, I think that is the max that a vendor will buy off you at any given time. So be curious to see just how often we can go back to the same vendor. But as typical Bethesda style, everything that I noticed has value. So thanks for watching, and I hope this was some value to you. Alrighty, take care.